Hey y'all, this is Miss Cavazos. I'm using what I call, or what's called a moon in my room to demonstrate the lunar cycle for y'all. Y'all typically notice the moon when it is at its brightest and it appears to be fully lit. And because it appears to be fully lit, we call it full moon. Now, every now and then, we look up at the sky and we notice that it is not there. But if we look close enough, we'll eventually find it. And you can kind of make out the shape, the round shape of it. That is called a new moon, and it is dark. But if we pay attention throughout the month, or even throughout the year, we'll notice that it is going through what we call different phases. And these phases cycle, so they repeat themselves. Okay, so the first part of these phases is going to be what we call waxing. If you notice, the light is on the right hand side. Okay, and we call it waxing because it appears to be growing as it continues. However, I want to point out the shape of it. Okay, it kind of looks like a banana or a crescent roll. Remember those? Or croissant. So we call this waxing crescent until it is halfway lit. Okay, and that is called a first quarter. Then, once it looks a little bit swollen, you see how that line looks pretty swollen there? Okay, that is now called a gibbous. And if we continue, it is still gibbous until it is fully lit. Now, what's the whole point of the waxing? Well, it's called waxing crescent, first quarter, and waxing gibbous all the way till it's lit. Because as soon as it starts to disappear, notice how the light is no longer on the right, it is now on the left. So it is getting swept, is what we say. And this is called waning. Now it's still got that swollen shape. So if you look, it's got the swollen shape here. So that's called a gibbous, and it is no longer waxing, remember, because the light is now on the left. It's getting swept, so it's called waning, gibbous. Still swollen there, so it's waning, gibbous, until it is halfway. That is what we call third quarter. And I'll explain between the first and third quarter. Once it's past the halfway, it is back to what we call that crescent shape. Now remember, we're no longer calling it waxing, we're calling it waning. So this is a waning crescent all the way till when it is off. And then it is called new moon. And new moon is special because that's where we start the cycle. New moon is always where we start the cycle. And then we begin just past new moon is once again waxing crescent, all the way to halfway. Then once it hits halfway, that's when we have first quarter. Then it is waxing gibbous, full moon. Once it's no longer fully lit, it is now waning gibbous because it's swollen again. Still waning gibbous until it's half lit. And then it is third quarter. Then once it's past the halfway, it is called waning crescent until it is all in the shadow. Now, why did I say it's in the shadow? Well, does the moon really give off light? Well, is the moon a star? Because that's really what gives off light, typically, in the universe. No, it's not. So an important question for you is, if the moon does not give off light, then where is the light really coming from? You tell me.